what you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 9 of the Fantasy Formula, brought to you by TheMesh.tv. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Chad East, and on my right, I've got my man, Ad Rock.
What's up?
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a special day here at the Fantasy Formula, and I'll tell you the reason why. Sitting right here in front of me, staring into my eyes, is the one, the only, Lawrence Thompson, owner of 3 fantasy football teams and proud commissioner of the Hickory Davey Drives a Hummer League. LT, I'm so glad to have you here today.
LT, what's up, buddy?
Guys, thank you very much. It's an honor to be here. You guys, I can tell how much fun you have on the podcast, and it's even more fun to be here sitting with y'all. I'm 6-1 with my brother's team.
Whoa.
Impressive.
And 4-4 and 4-4, and that's no losing teams.
That is
yourself,
pretty
Chad.
impressive.
Not bad.
Not bad at all.
Team. I'm leading the league in points in one league, and I'm horrible in the other league, but I've been lucky, so it's not going well. It's really an honor to be here with you guys. I really feel like you are changing the fantasy podcast world.
Yes.
The way you blend game lines with fantasy knowledge is literally revolutionary and impressive. I love the fact that you guys always disagree. It's comedy. You're like the odd couple of fantasy football. It's wonderful.
I love to disagree with Chad. That's for sure.
Thank you, LT. That was very kind. And I know you weren't bragging about your fantasy football teams earlier, but you know you will collapse and not make the playoffs in all 3 leagues. So, Ad-Rock, just quickly to review last week, 2-1 here for Return of the Chad-Eye. First place in one division, middle of the road in the other division. Unfortunately, last place in the Davey Drives a Hummer Hickory League, which LT is the proud commissioner of. Ad-Rock, how'd you do?
I ran into a buzzsaw this week. My man, Mr. Whitfield, 168 points, if I'm not mistaken. Ray Rice, Steven Jackson. I took it to the grill this week, y'all. I put up 100. I think I put up 113, 115, and just got beat like a drum. Hurt.
Sorry,
really
buddy. Maybe next week will be your week. And before we start the Fantasy 45, fastest 45 seconds in fantasy football, the reason Mr. LT is here with us today is we have a very, very special episode, which we'll bring to you here at the end of the program. We are going to review, or actually we're going to hand out our awards for our mid-season awards for the best fantasy football performances and a couple other little tidbits of fun that we're going to have a little later. So with that being said, Addison, let's roll into the Fantasy 45. Game 1, here we go. Atlanta goes to Indy. Last week, you heard it here. I really thought Indy would put up a better fight against the Titans. They laid another egg. They're 0-8, still in the Andrew Luck sweepstakes. Curtis Painter, your man, went for 26 for 49, 250, no touchdowns. Dallas Clark, the number one receiver on the Colts last week with 77 yards. And Addison, this is a trip. Curtis Painter was also your leading rusher with 7 carries for 79 yards.
How bad
when your
are
quarterback
they?
is your leading rusher and his name is not Michael Vick, you know you're in for some trouble. They will be traveling, or actually Atlanta will be traveling to Indy last week. Atlanta, I believe, coming off the bye. Is that right, Addison?
That is
Atlanta
correct.
Didn't play last week?
That is correct.
So, Ad-Rock, hit me up. Atlanta goes to Indy. What you like?
Look, that is an unlucky horseshoe on their helmet. ATL is going to roll big on this game. They got turf. Matt Ryan, they come off the bye week. Michael Turner's just going to bowl his way in the end zone against that defense. They're going to put some resistance up, but there's going to be a lot of fantasy points. I think Roddy White's finally got his butt off his shoulders. Matt Ryan's going to put up 3 bills, probably 2 touches, another dime from Michael Turner. Atlanta big in this game.
Bingo. I like that too as well, Addison. Atlanta plays well on indoor surfaces. Matt Ryan, even though they're on the road, playing indoors at Indy. They get it done. Atlanta lays the 8.5 at Indy to get the job done. On to the next one. We're rolling to New Orleans, where the Saints will host the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Last week, the Saints coming off the surprising defeat to the lowly St. Louis Rams. Last week, Drew Brees didn't have his normal Drew Brees kind of day.
Worst game of the year. Good Lord.
269 with 2 picks and a fumble for Mr. Brees. Not too good, Drew. I'm sure he'll get back on the horse this week against Tampa Bay. Pierre Thomas replacing an injured Mark Ingram on the ground for the Saints. 23 yards and a touchdown. Lance Moore Nice game for Lance as a flex player. 7 receptions, 74 yards, and a touchdown. Hosting Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay on the bye last week. Ad-Rock, give it to me.
I think you summed it up. I don't see New Orleans coming with back-to-back horrible weeks like that. They're just too good of a team. Their offensive weapons are too many to name. I'm liking Pierre Thomas at the running back. He's one of the hardest runners in the league. I don't see Drew Brees, the competitor he is, going back-to-back weeks like that. I think he gets back on track with Colston. Meacham still could have a good game. I like Lance Moore. Lance Moore hadn't done much all year. I like seeing him get the ball to him. But I like Pierre Thomas in the backfield. He's the hardest runner, and I think he'll just pound the Tampa Bay defense.
Addison, I hate how this fantasy formula is starting out because that's 2 for 2 with me agreeing with you. I don't like where we're heading, but I do like the Saints. Vegas got the number set at -8. Let's roll with the Saints in New Orleans, -8. On to the next, my friend. We're going Cleveland versus the Houston Texans. The Texans got it going on. I think they won 3 in a row. Last week defeated the Jaguars 24-14. Matt Schaub through the air, 225 and a touch. Arian Foster, 33 carries, 112 on the ground and a touchdown. The dude started off slow with the injury. He is just kicking into full gear right now. I love what Arian Foster's doing. With Andre Johnson on the bench with the injury, Kevin Walter, 5 receptions, 70 yards. Little tidbit of info. Andre Johnson practiced. They're saying he's about 80 to 85%. Let's look to see if he's going to make the trip to play against the Cleveland Browns. Last week, Cleveland Browns suffered the 2010 defeat to the 49ers. McCoy, 241 and a touch. Benjamin Watson, 3 receptions and 64 yards. And the biggest bit of info here, and LT, maybe you can help us out a little bit here. Montario Hardesty, out with the injury to his calf, could be out for the year. Hillis walked off out of practice today with the trainer. Who's left, LT?
Bonaya.
Exactly.
Wait.
You pronounced it and not me.
Slow, please. I don't speak. That was not English. Say it one more time.
Let me hand this over to our pronunciation expert, Addison.
Love it.
Take a hack.
Love it. So good.
Bonaya.
Okay, I'm not.
I've never heard of this guy. I have no idea
What's
who
the
he
first
is.
letter of the first name? What's the first letter? What does it be? I'm just going to give initials on that one.
Chris. Let's call him
Yeah, let's call him Chris.
There you go.
Even better.
Chris.
There we go.
Yeah, what you think there, LT? Cleveland travels to Houston.
He had 11 carries for 37 yards. He's doing about 3 yards a carry. We just don't know, Chad. I mean, it's hard to say, but I wouldn't expect much there.
Yeah. I'm with you, LT. I think Cleveland, as we've said it many times here at Rock, when you're playing Cleveland, whatever the total that Vegas has set, you're going to go under the total. Vegas got it set at 41. This is your double parlay special of the day. Under 41, Houston minus the 10 at home. On to the next one. Possibly one of the matchups of the week. We're going New York Jets travel to the surprising Buffalo Bills.
I can't. This is going to be the game.
Everybody's
This
excited.
is my game right here.
Absolutely. Everybody excited about this game. Both teams, but no, actually, last week the Bills did play. They played the Redskins and shut them out up in Canada, I believe it was. No, where were they? They played
Canada.
Toronto.
That's right.
The Bills, 23-0 over the Skins.
Undefeated at home.
Undefeated at home. Unbelievable. 5-2 record. Tied for the lead in the division. We had Fitzpatrick, 21 for 27, 262 and 2 touchdowns. Very, very solid. Fred Jackson continues to get it done through the ground and through the air. 120 on the ground, 74 through the air. A potential MVP candidate. He's looking great for the Buffalo Bills. They will host the New York Jets. The Jets coming off the bye last week. Addison, one of the games of the week. Give it to me.
I'm liking Fitzpatrick's game. I don't think the Jets are going to have an answer for the Buffalo defense. I think the Buffalo defense is going to come big in this game. I think they're going to frustrate Sanchez. I like the scheme that Chan Gailey's been throwing around up there. I'm liking Buffalo in this game. I do not think New York's going to have an answer for them. I'm seeing Fitzpatrick have a good game. I like Stevie Johnson. And Scott Chan, a big white boy, big white tight end.
2 touchdowns last week.
Yes, you know what? He's sporadic, but you know what? I see him getting it back behind the backers of the New York Jets. I'm liking Buffalo in this game.
Addison, what the hell's wrong with this? I agree.
3 in a row.
Buffalo Bills. Vegas got the number set as a favorite. Buffalo Bills are a 1.5 favorite against the beginning of the year Super Bowl
I can't believe
contenders,
that
the
we're
New
saying
York
that Buffalo's
Jets.
a favorite.
I can't either, but you know what? I'm going to ride this Bill train. Let's go Buffalo Bills minus the 1.5 to get it done against the New York Jets. Here we go, Addison. We're not slowing down. We're going Miami, traveling to KC. Miami, I thought they were going to get the job done last week, get off the schneid with their first victory. Had the Giants down 17-3. let the Giants and Eli Manning come back.
God, that was
unbelievable.
I watched Eli lead that team back. It was beautiful.
Eli, that was a great game by Eli. Miami last week, Matt Moore, 13 for 22, 138. Not too good for the Dolphins quarterback there. Reggie Bush picking up the slack with Daniel Thomas being hurt last week. 15 carries for $103. Brandon Marshall through the air, 4 receptions and 55 yards, playing against the Kansas City Chiefs. Addison, who we picked the upset winner of the week.
Yes, we did.
We did pick them for the upset win against the San Diego Chargers, and boy, did they get it done, and they got it done in overtime.
By who? Who did it?
It was Ryan Suckup, the
Hickory boy.
Hickory native kicked
H-Town, baby.
Well done, Ryan. Let's give it up for him real quick. Good job, buddy. Through the air, Castle, 19 for 32, 261, and a touchdown. Nothing spectacular for Matt Castle. Typically about 225 to 250 is what he's going to give you in a touchdown. Jackie Battle on the ground, 19 for 70. And it wasn't Dwayne Bowe this week through the air. It was Jonathan Baldwin. I'm sure he's on your waiver wire, guys. If you're looking for a buy replacement, Jonathan Baldwin, 5 receptions, 82 yards, and a touchdown. Ad-Rock, Miami, KC.
KC all the way, man. Dwayne Bowe's going to get back on track this week. He's going to have a huge game against the Miami secondary. Rushing game for KC is a little sporadic. I mean, you know what? Actually, I was kind of impressed with Reggie Bush. I know everybody's like, Reggie Bush, basically sucks. But look, he ran the ball good. KC doesn't have the best defense in the world. He may get you 75 to 100 yards. I'm seeing that. He actually had a long run, I think, for 48, 50 yards, somewhere in that. He had a long run. I like Reggie Bush. Fantasy points in this game. I like KC to take the win. But I'm seeing some fantasy points out of Reggie Bush this week.
Thank you, Addison. Finally, things getting back to normal because I'm going against you here, and I'll tell you why. Okay, Kansas City coming off the huge win Monday Night Football. They experienced the highs, the lows, the excitement of winning.
How can you pick Miami? How?
I'll tell you, because they are still fighting for this coach. They have been in every ball game, minus the Jets game. The Dolphins have scratched and clawed. They just have not gotten that victory yet. I'm not saying they win outright against Kansas City, but Vegas has got them as a 5.5-point dog. I like them to lose about by 3. Let's go. Miami plus the 5.5. Here we roll to the next one, Ad-Rock. Here we go. Are you ready? The Seattle Seahawks versus the Dallas Cowboys. Okay. Last week, I thought Seattle would have a chance against your Cincinnati Bengals. They were playing at home. I mentioned to you they always play very, very well at home, and I didn't think Cincinnati could score. Boy, was I mistaken. The Seahawks did absolutely nothing offensively.
And how about the number 1 defense in the NFL last week?
Was it really? Woo. You had for the Seattle Seahawks they were trying to come back. So Tavares Jackson threw for 323 yards, very impressive, but he also had 2 picks. Leon Washington, 2 carries for 34 yards. There's really not much to talk about Seattle's offense, so we're going to move right ahead. They played against the Dallas Cowboys, who were stifled against the Eagles D last week. Tony Romo, 18 for 35 for 203 and a touchdown. I know Romo owners are expecting more out of him. Murray on the ground, the rookie, 8 for 74, and Laurent Robinson, 5 for $103 and a touchdown. Addison, can Dallas redeem themselves against the lowly Seahawks?
Yeah, since they're at home this week, I think the boys. I hate saying that Dallas is ever going to win, but I guess they're going to. I don't like what's going on in Seattle. Maybe we'll see us. Maybe we'll see a clipboard Jesus sighting. He'll pull Whitehurst off the bench. I don't know, but no. I mean, Romo has moments of glory, and I see one coming from this week because he hasn't done much all year. He's about 10th in every category, in every quarterback category there is. Dallas big. All right, I wouldn't say Dallas big. I'm saying Dallas by a touch.
Ad-Rock, I'm going Seattle this way, but I'm going to have to – I kind of agree with you because Vegas got the number set at 12.5. Seattle will not win this game, but no way Dallas covers by more than 2 touchdowns. We're going Seattle plus the 8.5 to get it done in Dallas. On to the next one. We're going Denver to Oakland. Addison, did you get a chance to watch Tebow last week?
I watched highlights. Red Zone channel. I'd love it just when something important happens.
He got Tebowed.
He did. Tebow got absolutely.
He got Tebowed.
He certainly
we're not
did.
that anymore.
Yeah, Tebow last week, I've heard some rumors. Coach Fox is giving him the start next week, but there's no guarantee he'll have the start any further past this weekend. It depends on his performance this weekend. Last week, Tebow 18 for 39, $172. Marino on the ground for 69 yards. Eric Decker, 1 touchdown, 72 yards. They're going to be playing against the Oakland Raiders, traveling to Oakland. Oakland coming off their bye. LT, you got any more Tebow info for us here?
Addison actually just Tebowed right here in the studio. You're not going to believe it. It was a little scary. Tebowing, if y'all don't know, is sweeping the nation, okay?
Yes.
And during last week's game, Tebow got sacked and I'm not sure who it was, but
Saw
he came
that.
up right behind him and Tebow.
I saw
Pretty awesome. Might be the end of Tebowing. But
I think the fans got their dose. I think that's what the pressure was because they said, here was the rumor. There was actually a billboard of Tebow right outside John Fox's window. Some independent people actually paid for a billboard that says "Start Tebow." Right outside John Fox's window.
Yeah.
So see, and finally, Tebow wasn't number 2. Last time I counted, it goes 1, 2, 3. I didn't think it went 1 to 3.
Yeah, skip Brady Quinn.
But skip Brady Quinn. Brady Quinn is a phenom. I mean, he no. I'm saying no. I wouldn't say. I take that back. Wrong words. No, he's a physical specimen when it comes to run.
Dude.
He's a more.
But before the show, you said Tebow was awful.
He is awful. Look, I'm not saying. I'm saying, look. His record's what 1-1.
John Beck or Tebow? Who'd you take?
John Beck.
John Beck.
Case
What's
closed.
Tebow's record?
I can't agree with
Tebow
that.
records is a starter. What
I
is it?
can't agree with that.
What's
John
his
Beck
record
is a
then?
lifetime bench quarterback. He started like 3 games his whole career, now starting for the mighty Washington Redskins. Tebow's, he's got some promise, and he's.
Well, no. But I mean, okay. Whatever. No,
Guys,
I mean,
we've
look,
spent too much time on the Denver-Oakland Tim Tebow conversation. Let's please move on. Ad Rock, who you like, Denver-Oakland?
I'm liking Oakland, even though they may be McFaddenless. McFaddenless, that's pretty good. McFaddenless. I'm liking Oakland this game.
LT, who you like, Denver-Oakland?
Oakland. It's got to be Oakland.
I'm
It's
going
no
Oakland, too. 2 bits of info here. You guys, waiver or injury report. Willis McGahee, he might be able to start next week against Oakland. And as Addison mentioned earlier, McFadden probably not going to go this weekend. So Michael Bush. There's also this cat named Tywan Jones, 3rd running back, quick as lightning. Look for him on your waiver wire if you're in desperate need. Let's go. Oakland minus the 8. Next up, my friends, one I skipped earlier, San Fran versus Washington Redskins. San Francisco versus the Washington Redskins. All right, Ad Rock. Last week, I think Washington laid another egg. I think they were shut out by the Bills. John Beck, who we just discussed, 20 for 33, 208, no touchdowns. Ryan Terrain, who is going to be my sleeper. I got him in a bunch of different leagues thinking he's going to get the carries. No doubt he's sleeping. 8 for 14.
Leading rusher,
8 for 14. It's horrendous. Through the air, Fred Davis. Fred Davis looks to be their only offensive weapon right now.
He looks good. I mean, Santana Moss is still out too. There's some issues going on in
Bills
Washington.
defense had 9 sacks last week.
Is that right? Wow. So some problems on the offensive line for Washington. They're traveling to San Francisco. I'm sorry. They're playing San Fran in Washington. San Francisco last week got the win 20-10 against the Browns. Alex Smith, 177 and a touchdown. Frank Gore continues to be a monster, 31, 134 and a touchdown. Michael Crabtree sighting, ladies and gentlemen. Michael Crabtree, 5 receptions, 54 yards and a touchdown. He might still be on some waiver wires if you need a receiver. Pick him up. Ad-Rock, give it to me. San Fran at D.C.
I like what's going on in San Fran. Harbaugh's got everybody buying in that system right now. Frank Gore's running like a man possessed. Like I said, Crabtree's come around. You got Vernon Davis. You get Braylon Edwards. I actually saw Braylon Edwards highlight. I'd thought he'd dropped off the face of the planet. But you got Hunter backing up. I just like everything going on in San Francisco right now. Running game, passing game is going good. They're 6-1. 6-1 right now. Am I correct?
They're
6-1.
Yeah, they are.
I'm liking San Fran. Go LT.
And no one's buying into what's going on in Washington.
No.
Never have. It's not looking any better. It's Niners.
I agree. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
It's going downhill.
Absolutely right.
LT, John Beck or Alex Smith?
Anybody but John Beck.
Right on.
Whatever Dan Snyder does, you do the opposite.
Completely concur. All right, so with that being said, Vegas got the number set. San Fran -3 on the road, over under 37.5. This guy's going under the total 37.5. I don't think the Skins score more than 3. On to the next one. We're going to Addison Fox's Cincinnati Bengals.
Who they, baby? Who
Traveling
they?
to the Tennessee Titans. Last week, Bengals get it done again, sitting at 5-2. Andy Dalton continues to impress. 18 for 29. Nothing spectacular. 168. 2 touchdowns. No interception. The dude, he doesn't turn the ball over. Very impressive.
Bernard Scott stepped in, filled the role. His Cedric Benson's one game suspension. Filled the role. Didn't do much against, which Shed, you called it, since Seattle's defense did shut the run down a little bit. But first game he came in, I think he had 64 yards, if I'm not mistaken. A couple passes out of the backfield. I tell you what, Cincinnati, boy, I'm getting excited over here.
They're looking
I'm
good.
getting excited.
And the other exciting thing they have to look forward to is Dalton to this guy, A.J. Green, on the outside.
God,
wow,
looking
the
good.
rookie phenom, just catching touchdowns every week. Impressive game. They're traveling to the Tennessee Titans. Titans coming off the 27-10 win against the Indianapolis Colts. Hasselback through the air, 224 and a touch. Javon Ringer, this is something we need to take notice of. Got the same amount of carries as Chris Johnson and out-rushed him. He rushed for 60. Chris Johnson for only like 37. So, guys, Javon Ringer, if he's available on waiver wire, it looks like this might be a running back by committee backfield now, which is shocking, but it could be. LT, Cincinnati, Tennessee, what you think?
I like Cincinnati. What's Andy Dalton's nickname?
Red? I don't know.
The
Red Rifleman?
Rifle?
Yeah, Red Rifle, I believe. Yeah, that's nice. It's nice.
I'm sorry, I'm an emotional guy. I'm getting into the Red Rifle a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm starting to believe.
I can buy in. Addison, I know who you're going to like here.
Oh, yeah. Don't just go and go to the next one.
You're not going to pass through. You're not going to pass by this guy because you know we're going to be on the Titans against the Bengals. You know I'm going to be on the Titans against the Bengals. Vegas got the number set it. The Titans is a 3-point favorite.
That's just wrong.
That
is
kind of
wrong.
It's very fishy. That line smells very fishy.
Hey, you want some-
and when it smells fishy, I like the smell.
put some
So I'm
money on it?
taking that number.
How about
minus the
straight up? Titans. I'll take Bengals. You take it straight up.
I don't wager. On to the next one. I don't gamble, Addison. You know this.
Gentleman's wager.
St. Louis travels to the Arizona Cardinals. Last week, Arizona Cardinals actually were in the ball game against the Ravens and collapsed. They lost the game 30-27. Kevin Cobb, 10 for 21 for 153 and a touchdown. More
But
importantly,
look, horrendous stuff. I mean, he could not get rid of the ball. He wasn't stepping up the pocket. He looked absolutely horrible.
and reports out of Arizona also he's got a case of turf toe. Could be replaced by
ready for this.
a John Skelton sighting. Yeah, LT
Wow.
mentioned earlier
Happy
for
Halloween.
Halloween. Bingo, I love that. Addison, you will be happy about this. Beanie Wells, who's on one of your teams, I believe, who really in the past have not shown much heart, wasn't supposed to play, decided to play. 22 carries, 83 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah, it didn't start him. It killed me. It killed me. And he ran good. So I guess they by CBS and ESPN they were going to have Stevens Howling and Alfonso Smith start.
Yeah.
Or split the carries, and then also here goes Benny Wells. Runs like a man child.
Yeah.
I mean, supposedly hurt, but
Ran
I
hard.
hope it didn't set him back this week because I need him this week.
Yeah. Arizona's receiving star Fitzgerald, 3 for 98. They're playing against the St. Louis Rams, who, as we mentioned before, just got off the schneid, their first win against the Saints. A.J. Feely in a backup role for Bradford, 20 for 37, a $175 and a touchdown. Now, the performance of the week, in my opinion, Steven Jackson, 25 carries on the ground, 159 and 2 touchdowns, caught a couple of balls through the air, too.
How do you
Very
tackle
impressive.
that man? How do you tackle that man? He is huge.
He really is. And this was interesting. Brandon Lloyd, second game with the Rams, 6 receptions, 53 yards, and a touchdown. Maybe he's getting his legs.
Couple of great catches. I mean, he looked really, really good against them.
Absolutely.
But he did have one key drop. That's true.
Addison, St. Louis, Arizona.
I'm going. I like the Cardinals, but I'm going to go with St. Louis this game, even though it's at Arizona.
Wow.
I think Kevin Cobb right now is I don't know. I don't like what's going on in Arizona. I think they're going to be relying on the running game. They're not getting Larry Fitzgerald involved. After St. Louis is going to take that momentum all the way to Phoenix right now. I mean, St. Louis looked good last week, and I'm going to take the Rams this game.
LT, you said, wow. What was you like Arizona here?
Who cares? I don't. I'm sorry.
Good point. With this game, Vegas got the number set at 4.5. Arizona is the favorite with a 44.5 over/under. I'm going under the total here with the turf toe of Kevin Cobb. Bradford's questionable at quarterback if he's going to come back in and replace Feely. I think a lot of running the ball. Steven Jackson and Benny Wells keeps the clock churning. Let's go under the total, 44.5. All right, the second great matchup of the week puts the New York Giants versus the New England Patriots. Two great teams, two great quarterbacks. Last week for the Giants, as we mentioned, Eli, fantastic day. 349 and 2 touchdowns. Really brought his Giants team back against the Dolphins. Ahmad Bradshaw, 13 for 50, but went out with an injury. You guys check your injury reports because Brandon Jacobs would be his backup. There's another cat. What's the other dude's name? I think his name is Ware, we were talking about.
Out of Georgia, I think you're right.
Yeah, out of Georgia. That would be the other backup if Bradshaw can't go. Victor Cruz does it again. 7 receptions, 99 yards, and a touchdown. They travel to the New England Patriots, who went up against my Pittsburgh Steelers and got that butt handed to them. New England, through the air, Brady, 24 for 35, 198 and 2 touchdowns. Not a Brady-like day. That blitz was coming into him. He was just trying to get rid of the ball. Unbelievable. Falk, Kevin Falk sighting. All you Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis owners, I know you're hating it right now, as Addison mentioned earlier. Kevin Falk, 6 carries and caught a bunch of balls out of the backfield, too. He might start getting some of the lion's share
He's
of the
like
carries.
37 years old.
37 years old, and he's still in the league as a running back. Very impressive. Leading receiver is the tight end, Gronkowski, 7 for 94.
Hernandez got hurt.
Big game.
Hernandez, I think, got hurt. Had an ankle or toe, one of the two, if I'm not mistaken.
Check your injury reports, guys. Ad-Rock, what you got here?
You know what? I'm going to go with the Patriots this game because I've seen the last few years New York Giants just kind of blow up. They get in these big games, and you look. The camera always pans to the coach and back to Eli, and the frustrating look on the sideline. Unless New York can score, I mean, this sounds kind of stupid. Of course, you score points, you're going to win. Unless New York gets up early, this is going to be the Patriots game. I mean, you're trying to stop a machine that systematically puts up points in all 4 quarters, and I just don't see New York. There are going to be a lot of fantasy points. Absolutely, they're fantasy points all over the board here. Receiving core from New York. Of course, you got the receiving core from New England. Brady, Eli are both 2 of the top 5 passing quarterbacks in the league. I'm gonna like New England this game though.
LT, let's get a northern perspective on this matchup.
It's a great matchup. I think the Patriots are going to win.
Right.
They're a good team. The Giants are a little bit. I'm not convinced yet. But if I was a betting man, with I believe 9 points.
The line is it opened at 9, but it's been bet down to 7.5 currently.
I think I take the Giants.
At LT, we think alike. I like the Giants too. They've got healthy defensive ends, right? The dude John Pierre Paul and
Justin Tuck,
and I don't know if he's healthy, but Oziwaga or whatever on the other end. They can rush Brady, and Brady knows to get rid of the ball. He's not the same guy when he gets split.
And I will say Brady in the last couple of weeks has had the shine taken off his penny.
I agree. I'm with that. And with that being said, let's take the Giants plus the 7.5 against the New England Patriots. Here we go, rolling right along. Green Bay, the other fantastic matchup of the weekend. We got Green Bay traveling to San Diego. Last week, Green Bay off the bye. San Diego coming off that tough defeat to the Chiefs on Monday Night Football. Phillip Rivers, possibly his worst performance as an NFL quarterback.
Did you see the video clip of him on the sidelines? He was looking up at the sky and saying, "This is the worst day I've ever had." He looked pathetic. It was hard.
I guess I should
do my.
Where's that little whimper? Let's hear that howl. Let's hit the.
That's my Wolfpack.
Phillip Rivers, you got to give him credit. I mean, he is one of the 50% of athletes that does graduate NC State to play professional. I mean, come on, you got to give him some credit.
I think he said that last week.
I think he's repeating himself. I agree, LT.
Next week, too.
Last week, Rivers, 26 for 41, 369, a bunch of picks, bunch of fumbles, a bunch of badness. Matthews, 13 for 57 on the ground. However, Ryan Matthews went out of the game with a groin injury, doubtful to play. Mike Tolbert owners, be happy. He's supposed to get the start. Mike Tolbert, he plays great in this backup role. I like him this week. Malcolm Floyd, 5 receptions for $107. Big game. Green Bay, San Diego, Ad-Rock.
Green Bay.
Just like that.
San Diego's got nothing. I mean, you're talking Green Bay has I've listed them every week. I mean, you got Jordy Nelson, Donald Driver, Greg Jennings, Jermichael Finley, James Jones. I mean, you can't. Then you got Starks out of the backfield as well as Ryan Grant. Green Bay.
Green Bay's loaded, but Phillip Rivers feels like he needs to redeem himself. He feels like he needs to redeem himself. And when a Wolfpack man needs to redeem himself, by God, he will. By God, he will.
Have you heard? There's some discussion that he might have an injury that's kind of. Have you heard about this?
Potential sternum injury. They're trying to keep it quiet. I don't know.
He's just tired of getting
not coming
beat.
out. The number right now, Vegas has got it set -5.5 for Green Bay. So San Diego playing as a dog at home, catching the 5.5. I'm all over them. Let's go Chargers. On to the next one. It's Baltimore versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is Sunday night matchup. My gosh, we've got great matchups starting from 1 all the way through the evening. Pittsburgh coming off the win, 25-17. Roethlisberger, 365 through the air at 2 touchdowns. Mendenhall, 70 through the ground. Heath Miller, he's available on your waiver wire as a tight end, guys. 7 receptions for 85. Roethlisberger has been looking for this cat. Playing host to the Ravens. I don't know if you guys remember this, but at the beginning of the year, the Ravens took it to Pittsburgh Steelers opening day. This is the chance for Steelers to redeem themselves. Last week, Baltimore wins the game 30-27. Flacco, 336 through the air. Ray Rice, 18 carries, 63 yards, 3 short 1-yard touchdown runs. Anquan Bolden, 7 for 145. Addison, big matchup, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, in Cincinnati's division. What you got?
I hope both of them lose. Nah, I can't walk. That'd be my ideal scenario because I'm a Cincinnati fan. But obviously, Pittsburgh's playing strong right now, and I mean strong. Baltimore's defense stepped up the week before last. But you know what? I'm liking Pittsburgh. Their offense is hitting on all cylinders. You got the passing game, you got the running game. Even the Redmond and Mendenhall and Welding Moore and Dwyer. I mean, they have some running backs come off the bench that are absolutely stellar. They could be starting in almost on some other teams. Pittsburgh, and I think Pittsburgh's going to actually dominate Baltimore in this game.
I like what you say, Addison. I don't necessarily think they're going to dominate. This is one thing that I do think. Vegas set the number at 42. The last 5 years, the matchup between Baltimore and Pittsburgh, the number has always been 40 or less because of the prolific defenses. You know,
right. Everybody
thinks Pittsburgh's got a big D, Baltimore's got a big D.
The whole defense, that whole thing's gone.
I agree. I think that's history.
But Baltimore has not. I mean, besides Ray Rice, unless they get into the red zone, which Flacco has not proven he can get them there, I don't see Baltimore putting points. I think they don't have a deep threat. I mean, I don't see it.
That's where I'm disagreeing with you. Pittsburgh used to run the ball all the time. Now they like to throw. Baltimore used to run the ball all the time. Now Flacco's throwing for 300 yards. I'm going over the total, 42, Pittsburgh and Baltimore on Sunday night. Last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, we're going Chicago travels to Philly. And if I'm not mistaken, LT, Philly is your squad?
Absolutely, and they looked all.
Take this one. Take this one, LT.
It was so good. That wide 9, did you all see that? They've got this defensive end split out wide. Everyone said that it wasn't working. Well, it worked last week. I'm a big believer. My theory here is that the Eagles had a new defensive coordinator, Juan Castillo.
Yes.
They've got a whole bunch of new players that we all know are good players, but the lockout was a huge problem for the Eagles.
They didn't have the time to gel.
Right. I mean, look, you had the beginning of the season, the Redskins were looking great, right? Now they're not. The Eagles looked awful. Now, I think that really affected the Eagles. I think they're coming on strong. I think the Eagles are going to win this one. I think they're going to kill them. I think they're going to cover the spread.
LT, could have been said any nicer. I completely agree. Phillies, whatever they were lacking earlier, they got it now. They got it now. Vic through the air last week.
Both y'all taking Philly? I'm thinking the Chicago Bears are going to dominate this game. I think Matt Forte and Cutler are going to combine. I mean, no, I'm just kidding. I'm liking Philly's game as well. Even though I think it's going to be close. I think it'll be a close game.
Vegas got the number set at 6.5. I like Philadelphia all day long at 6.5.
We'll get back to your show in a moment. Just a reminder, you're listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Find out more at themesh.tv and give us feedback on what you like. And now, as promised, back to your show.
Right on, my friends. Well, that wraps up the Fantasy 45, the fastest 45 seconds in fantasy football, and we're going to move right along. And the reason being, because I'm excited, it's the mid-season award show. We're going to start with, if we may, Addison and LT. We're going to start with the best fantasy running back of at the mid-season break. I'm going to throw a couple candidates out there, and let's just talk about it. Matt Forte, Fred Jackson, and Adrian Peterson had some hell of first half of the season. Who do you guys have as your running back of the
Go ahead, LT. Field this one.
Matt Forte's been great. He's overperformed. You got to mention Fred Jackson. Huge overperformer. Everyone knew AP was going to be up there. You didn't mention LaShawn McCoy.
Oh, wow.
Got to throw him in there.
Great call.
Great
call.
I think Matt Forte. I think Matt Forte is so underrated and underpaid right now. I mean, he is Chicago's offense right now. He's, I think, second league in all-purpose yards. I'm really liking Matt Forte right now.
Right on. I forgot to mention Ray Rice too. He's definitely up there. But my award for the running back of the first part of the year would go to Fred Jackson. I think he's Mr. Do Everything in Buffalo. He's the reason for that 5-2 record. So with that being said, a couple good selections here for the running back of the year. Good job, guys. On to the next one, wide receivers. I think this one might be kind of easy. There's a couple good ones out there, but there's one guy that's still alone to me. Ad-Rock, who you think?
I'm gonna take Wes Welker. I mean, I like what he's come off the knee surgery. I was not expecting him to put up the numbers that he has done so far this year, coming back from that. Plus, he's like a 5'8" white boy in the NFL. I get excited seeing him play. I like Wes Welker. I think he is one of the Brady, of course, is a great quarterback, but Welker's going across the middle in a tough league. I'm liking Wes Welker, and he's put up some serious numbers so far at this point.
Good selection.
And I'll go ahead. I will mention that I have Wes Welker and I think the fellow you're about to talk about in a minute on one of my squads, which is wonderful. You can win with just these two guys. They've been great.
What a team.
But it's worth mentioning Steve Smith is right up there. He's
great
had a good
call.
season.
Absolute great call, and I think Wes Welker, Steve Smith, they all deserve a lot of praise, but nobody's come out the blocks like Calvin Johnson in Detroit.
Megatron.
The guy is doing he's making history right now, guys. So he would get my vote for wide receiver of the first part of the fantasy football year. On to the next one. Here we go. This one to me kind of seems easy too. I'm gonna throw it to you, LT. Tight end of the year so far.
Oh, there's no question. I mean, Jimmy Graham is getting the ball. Breeze loves him. He's, I think, 5 touchdowns, 700 yards receiving, 49 receptions. He's leading all tight ends so far this season by a good bit.
Absolutely, he's been dominant.
I'm gonna have to second that. I think Jimmy Graham, he's 5th in the league in receiving yards as a tight end.
Wow,
that is impressive to say the least. I mean, I don't think there's any other. No
other candidate, really.
No,
except for this one guy who, Addison, I cannot believe you didn't mention.
Mercedes Lewis.
It's got to be Mercedes Lewis. All right, guys, easily, my opinion, best tight end in the first half of the fantasy year, Mercedes Lewis. Let's go ahead and send him the gold medal. He deserves it. Way to go, Mercedes. Keep up the good work. All right, next up, my friends, we're going quarterback. Best quarterback of the fantasy first half of the year. LT.
Go ahead.
I think there's a clear leader who I'm going to leave alone for now. But you got to talk about Cam Newton. This is an unbelievable story.
Unreal.
What is the Panthers record now?
They've won one game.
Yeah, Cam Newton is your leading fantasy quarterback halfway through the season.
Unreal.
That's pretty amazing. Mm-hmm. He got torn. He was one of those guys people didn't know how he was going to be this year. You like Tebow, you like Newton. It's Newton
all day long. Completely agree. Ad Rock.
I'm going on a limb on this one because I think in your stats, stats tell the story. I think quarterback right now is Eli Manning. You know why? Who already has at this point 4 game-winning drives? Eli. If you take him away from the New York Giants right now, they don't have a team. He's 3rd in passer rating, 4th in yards. You combine all that, but the game-winning drives, you don't see Aaron Rodgers. That's the key to a leader. When you lead your team down the field, when the game's on the line, and produce.
He's had a good season.
4 game-winning drives already.
Can't disagree with that, Ad Rock. However, I think everybody thinks Aaron Rodgers. Come on,
True.
Quarterback. They're 7-0. They're defending Super Bowl champions. If it wasn't for a couple cats dropping some balls, the dude might have not have any incompletions. He puts it right on the money. He's unbelievable.
He's been awesome.
So quarterback, they're all good fights for all 3 of these players. Yeah, go ahead.
And we need to mention Drew Brees. He's right up there.
Absolutely, Drew Brees. Great mention to Drew Brees. All right, good calls there for running back, wide receiver, tight end, and quarterback. Let's move into one of these other superlative awards here. Let's start with the Surprise Fantasy Performer of the Year. Now, this is going to be fun. Surprise Fantasy Performer of the Year. The criteria would be a player that was drafted maybe mid draft or late, or maybe picked up on a waiver wire. There's a couple fantastic candidates. LT, give me a few.
You've already mentioned him. He's my favorite, Fred Jackson. No question. He's wonderful.
Well said. Ad Rock.
I'm going to go on a stretch a little more because I like him. I picked him up, and I like the way he's producing. I like Beanie Wells. Beanie Wells has performed more so than I thought he would so far this year.
Not bad. I think the outstanding candidate who was actually on most waiver wires, wasn't drafted, has to be Cam Newton. Come on. He's surprised.
No. There was that. I can't believe people. I'm going to tell you the story. There's a guy in one of these leagues that drafted. I don't know. He got sick of playing all the stats games, so he picked 2 teams he was going to draft from. He drafted all Carolina Panthers and all Cleveland Browns, and he has actually won 3 games this year. And he started, once Cam Newton went on fire, Cam Newton's put up 25, 30 points every week. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe that.
Yeah, that is unbelievable. I think in our Davey Drives a Hummer league, our friend Steven Sparks was really reaching for a quarterback in the draft, didn't get any, found Cam Newton week 2 on the waiver wire, and it's really propelled him. He's not leading the league or anything, but it's really helped his team a lot. So Cam Newton, Freddie Jackson, all these guys we're talking about, great options for Surprise Fantasy Provider of the Year.
He usually isn't leading the league. That's
a good point.
Good clarification.
Very true. Very true. All right, here's a great one here. This is the category of overall bust of the fantasy year. This is very easy for me because about 6 of these guys are on my team right now. My entire team is made up of bust of the year. We'll throw this one at you, Ad Rock. You got a couple busts for us?
Yeah, first one's going to be Peyton Hillis. I mean, Peyton Hillis was horrible. And you know what? I think another one, this may be more a personal thing, but Sean Green. I think Sean Green has not done anything this year. I guarantee Sean Green was a first-round pick in most leagues. If not that, he was coming back. Oh. He was coming back on the first and second round. Sean Green and Peyton Hillis are my 2 biggest bust this year.
Great call.
Yeah.
LT.
There's no question in my mind. I mean, I think it's the story of the fantasy season so far. Chris Johnson, a top 3 pick in almost every league. A top number 1 pick in a lot of leagues. Yes. He was a number 1 pick in one of my leagues. I see him right now as being the 31st best running back. That's awful. He's averaging about 6, 7, 8 points a game.
Mm-hmm. That's how many million per yard? Pick. How many million per yard is that?
Oh, at least 853,000.
That's not good, and that's disappointing, and that's sinking some teams, right?
Completely.
When you have your top pick, and you're not picking again until 24 or 22. To have that kind of performance out of Chris Johnson,
that's about as bad as having like Mercedes Lewis as tight end right now.
Great point, LT. And even though I hate to do this, I'll throw one more out there. Phillip Rivers was drafted probably top second round or early third, and he is. He's not even the top 15 quarterbacks right now. So if you drafted him, I hate to say it to an NC State Wolfpack guy, but Phillip, come on, buddy, let's get it together. Well done, guys, on the overall bust of the fantasy year. How about this category? Let's move to the MVP of the first 8 weeks of the season. A lot of candidates here. LT, give me a couple.
MVP. I mean, I'm going to go with. We haven't mentioned Adrian Peterson in a little bit,
great
and
call.
he's unlike Chris Johnson. He's a top 2 or 3 pick that's really performed right where you would expect him to be, and that's pretty amazing. 18, 19 points a game as a running back. That's pretty good.
I like it. Ad Rock.
I'm gonna go with Calvin Johnson this year. I mean, he's setting some records left and right. I think Detroit would not be anywhere without him right now. Javon Best has kind of fizzled out. They're kind of floundering at the running back position. You take him away, they've got nothing. I mean, you're talking 11 touchdowns already halfway through the season.
Wow, very, very impressive. I'll throw out a couple for my MVP too. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers gets it done week in and week out. But again, I'll say this, as I mentioned, the running back who I thought was the best of the year. I think Fred Jackson has earned the potential to be the MVP of the year. Catching balls out of the backfield, bunch of touchdowns, running great out of the backfield. So anyway, all good candidates for MVP of the first 8 weeks.
And let's know with Matt Forte. We got to give him props. Got to give Matt Forte props.
Good call, Ad Rock. I like that.
We also wanted to mention some of the injuries that have really changed the season.
Yes.
Peyton Manning, the second best Manning this season. Mm-hmm. It's worth mentioning when most people were having their drafts, he was having neck issues.
Yeah.
And people risked. I mean, that's about as bad as writing in Randy Moss.
Yeah.
When he was retired. And I don't know, did you hear about somebody doing that?
People, yeah.
I mean,
no comment.
Okay, that's what I want to
People went with Manning because of the name, even though, he had these neck issues, and that's really hurt their teams. Obviously, Jamal Charles is another person that's really has affected a lot of teams.
Yeah. Andre Johnson, too, going out week 3. He's been out for 4 weeks. That's really, really hurt as well. So, yeah, good call there, LT. I like that a lot. And the last category we have is kind of an interesting category. We received a lot of emails the past couple weeks, and we polled our audience who had, out of the leagues that you're in, who had the worst draft of 2011. And we got a lot of feedback, but the 3 that really stood out were representing from the Davey Drives a Helmer League in Hickory, North Carolina. Unfortunately, yours truly, Chad East, owner of Return of the Chad Eye. This is what I did, ladies and gentlemen. I drafted Andre Johnson and Vic 1-2, and then went to go get D'Angelo Williams, Michael Williams, Greg Olsen, Delone Carter, and Daniel Thomas. And yes, I said,
did you be taken out and shot?
I also try to grab. This is what really killed my team. I grabbed Matt Stafford in week 8, so I had Vic and Stafford. Think I would use one as trade bait. It never came to fruition. So Stafford's been sitting on my bench gathering 40 points a game while I've been starting Vic. So unfortunately, I start out at 1-7. So representing Davey Drives a Hummer, Return of the Chad Eye as the nominee 1. LT, you got a nominee there, I believe.
This is really unbelievable. It's a great story. This fellow's name is Henry Oakey out of Charlottesville, Virginia. He's a proud Virginia graduate. His team name is the Stonewall Brigade, and this is out of Battle Dome. Listen to this. This was an auction-style format, which is a great format. If any of you are in leagues that are interested in it, it's a great format. It's a lot of fun. So the order is a little bit different. But his most expensive player, Greg Jennings, Steven Jackson. Here's where it gets interesting. Ben Roethlisberger, LeGarrette Blount, Santonio Holmes, Jay Cutler, and Josh Freeman. Now, I don't know what you noticed, what you should have picked up on there is that there was 3 quarterbacks in his top 7 picks.
That's a no-no.
3 quarterbacks in his top 7 picks. It's not ideal. To compound, if that draft wasn't bad enough, to compound his problems, he then dropped his best quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger, who had a little bit of a rocky start to the season, but has then since come on unbelievably strong. After week 4, he has really been on fire.
He really
been
has.
a great quarterback. So he dropped Ben Roethlisberger. Someone else in the league picked up Ben Roethlisberger and has been trying to trade him back.
I love it.
Okay?
Yes.
But and really, frankly, it makes sense for him because he's got I said Jay Cutler, Freeman. I mean, he's got nothing there, even though he drafted 3 running quarterbacks.
Wow.
Pretty awful draft. It's not the way you want to do it, Jed.
Pretty strong nominee there, LT. Well done on that. Nominee 3, representing Raleigh, North Carolina, Sugars League. This is Team Crunk Juice owner Chad Link. This is what he started with, my friends. He went Darren McFadden. He drafted 14th in a 14-team league. McFadden, not bad. On the turn, he went Peyton Manning. Coming back around, Marcus Colston, followed by D'Angelo Williams, and it continues to worsen. All right, my man is sitting at 0-8. He has not sniffed victory yet. He has not scored over 56 points yet, okay?
Wow.
His current
And he tried. He's trying on the
I love this guy, too. He was my roommate for years and years in college. I mean, he's a smart guy, but when it comes to fantasy, the dude is terrible. His starting quarterback now is Curtis Painter. If you are starting Curtis Painter, you know it's not good. So, Chad, I love you, buddy, but you are a nominee for the worst draft of the 2011 Fantasy Football League. Ad-Rock, I think we have one more nominee.
We got one more, and I'm not sure about the draft order, but coming out of the Jay Get Off the Mic League is my boy and your blood, Chad, Jeremy East. He's sitting at 2-6 right now, 11th place, and if I'm not mistaken, I'm going back to a draft night. I think he drafted 4 straight receivers in the first 4 rounds, 3 or 4 straight receivers. He's got Tony. Now, looking at his lineup now, it's not bad. Yeah, it is. I thought it was going to be Tony Romo, who's about the 10th ranked quarterback. You got Hakeem Nicks, who catches balls. Manningham's getting more looks. Brandon Jacobs, who's riding the pine last 2 games. Jackie Battle is one of the starting running backs. Stevie Johnson out of Buffalo, which looks not a bad pick. Then he's got on his bench Peyton Hillis, LaDainian Tomlinson. I'm sorry, yeah, your team's butt, dude. I love my boy to death, but man, he's made the playoffs the last couple of years, but this year it's not even going to happen.
Thank you, Ad-Rock. So we've got 4 really solid nominees there. What would I like to ask the audience to do today? Hit us up, info@themesh.tv. Tell us whose draft really was the worst out of those 4. Again, the nominees, we've got Return of the Chad-Eye from Hickory, North Carolina, Stonewall Brigade from Charlottesville, Virginia, Crunk Juice from Raleigh, North Carolina, and what you talking about, Hillis from Hickory. Ladies and gentlemen, hit us on that info@themesh.tv and tell us what draft you think was the worst.
Also, Chad, make sure they can contact. They want to have a call-in voicemail number 828. Chad, could you please turn your cell phone off while we're recording this important show?
I'm a popular guy, man.
LT, I'm sorry. I know we're acting unprofessional with Chad's cell phone on, but I'm sorry about that. All right, again, the not toll-free number, because that's how we roll up here, is 828-619-0048. 828-619-0048.
Leave us a nice comment or something regarding your fantasy team, and we'll put you on the air. Remember, let's keep it clean, Addison. Let's keep it clean.
Most definitely.
LT, go ahead.
I just want to say it's been a real amazing experience seeing how the magic happens here. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
LT, we're so glad to have you, and we'd love to have you maybe back at the later part of the year. We'll talk some more fantasy football.
Did I do good enough?
You did a fantastic job. Fantastic job. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to our podcast. Remember, check us out on iTunes or Google us at themesh.tv. We're looking forward to hearing from you next time. Until then, Ad-Rock.
Who day, baby?
Peace.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.